Hi, this is Lorraine, and I've been guided to create this video. This video will be about cycles, and it is an extension of the previous two videos I did on All Time Is Now and timelines. So I'm just going to get started. I'm not going to review that other information, so you may need to go back. I'll put those videos in the description if you feel like you need to review that information. But I just want to go straight into this idea or understanding of cycles. So again, if we're looking at a life, or my life, from birth, this now moment, and death, I have had certain experiences in my life that I will call benchmarks. Okay, there are certain things in my life that I had to do from birth to now. And I have at this point in my life, I have a very clear idea of what the most poignant moments in my life were that brought me to this place. Okay, and so I'm going to say each one of these lines represents a benchmark, or that poignant experience that was necessary to bring me to this point here. Equally, in my future, from now to my death, there are certain things that I have or will do in my life that I've agreed to, or that I have chosen to do. I wouldn't even say I agreed to do it. I would say I chose to do certain things in this life. So all of these lines represent the things that I have committed to do and experience in this lifetime. In the previous video, I was talking about how we can choose to deviate from those experiences, and normally that would be rooted in our ego, because this straight line, if we're walking our path and doing what the divine consciousness chose or would like to experience in this lifetime, it would be this straight line of path and purpose right here. This is our Dharma, this straight line. But when we deviate from that line, we deviate from what is intended for us to do, and we create these, what we would call timelines. What I have been taught through my intuition, through divine guidance, is that when we deviate from what we are intended to do, that is when we create friction in the flow of energy, and thus we create karma. And we do this, friction is created when we resist divine guidance, when we resist what we know to be true. And this is demonstrated in timelines, right? When we resist what we are meant to do on this world, in this lifetime, we are deviating from our intended path, okay? And so here we are creating these varied timelines, right? These paths that are not part of our path and purpose. Okay? So like I said, I know I've deviated from my path and purpose from birth to this now moment. From this now moment to my death, I would like to think that I'm going to walk my path and purpose without deviation, that I'm so committed, I'm so connected to the divine consciousness that I know what I'm going to do definitively, and it will be perfect. But as a human who's still working through healing my wounds, is still working on releasing anger, releasing anxiety, releasing emotions from the past, I'm sure there's going to be, I'm just going to say, I don't want to say I'm sure because then I'm going to will that to happen, but I'm going to say that it's possible that I may deviate from my path and purpose from this now moment at some point in time to my death, okay? So I believe this to be true for all of us, not just for me, but I'm just going to talk about myself as an example. So in my life, I've created these variations, these deviations from my path and purpose, right? I have all these experiences that are not aligned with my path and purpose. As I deviate from my path, I create cycles in time. I create cycles. Okay? These benchmarks here that I am meant to experience in this life tell me what I need to do to fulfill my obligation, not only to the divine, but to myself, because I have certain things that I have chosen to experience in this life. This is about my growth, my evolution, my development as a spiritual being. My earning an income does not define who I am. My job does not define who I am. It is who I am and how I experience myself, the world around me, the people I engage, everything on this world, the animals, the soil, the people, the environment that I live in, whether it be on land or aquatic, everything I experience is meant to help me evolve and grow as a spiritual being, not as a teacher, because my existence is not defined by this one lifetime, right? Okay, so I don't want to go too far off that. So as I am experiencing this life and deviating from what I'm intended to do, I am not fulfilling my obligation to myself or the divine. So I am forced to repeat cycles. It behooves me to repeat cycles, okay? Because I have something I want to do. I have something I want to achieve. And the best way to describe this, I've said this before, is relationships, like toxic relationships or unhealthy relationships. We date someone, it's an unhealthy relationship, we end the relationship. And then we start seeing someone new, and with the intention of it not being another toxic relationship. And then we end up in another relationship that's not healthy for us. And then another one, and then another one. And we ask ourselves, why do I keep falling into these bad relationships? I don't want to go into why. We end up cycling in these toxic relationships. And it's not until we find a way to break out of that mindset, whatever is keeping us rooted in a thinking that keeps us cycling in these bad relationships, until we find a way to get out of that thinking, we will continue to repeat this cycle. And every time we repeat this cycle of an unhealthy relationship, we learn something new. And every experience is meant to help us grow and change and evolve and discover whatever it is we need to discover to break us out of that way of thinking, so we can move on to the next cycle, okay? To the next experience. It doesn't even have to be a cycle. If we learn that lesson or we move through that phase flawlessly, we're not going to be in a cycle, right? But if there's something that we miss, then we will go back to this cycle. We will go back and revisit that thing, whatever it is, until we learn what we're meant to learn and grow in the way we're meant to grow. And this doesn't just have to be one lifetime. It doesn't have to be relationships. It can be multiple lifetimes. So the example I used in the past was Lemuria and Atlantis. Like, we have these two worlds, or these two people that many people believe existed on this world, these communities, these, I don't know what you want to call them, they were humans on this world existing in a different place from a different experience. So Atlantis existed, and they're going through their experience, and that civilization failed, right? And so then we have, let's say, Lemuria existed, and that experience failed. I've even had visions of really ancient, old civilizations from the beginning of Mother Earth's existence that have taught me about the history of our planet. But all those people, all those civilizations failed, right? They failed. And then here comes Earth, okay? We are in this huge cycle of evolution on Mother Earth. Mother Earth has had so many different people come and exist on her and fail to move through the process of transcendence. And we as humans have come onto this world, Earth humans of this present time, and we are right now going through the process of transcendence. We will evolve. We will not only evolve as people, we are going to evolve as a planet. So we are transcending with Mother Earth. And as I say that, Mother Earth may not have been ready to transcend when Atlantis was a civilization on this world, or when Lemuria was a civilization on this world. And these other beings, I didn't get names, so I'm not giving them names, but there are other ancient civilizations that did not transcend. So maybe it wasn't their fault, maybe it wasn't about their evolution. Maybe their inability to transcend was because Mother Earth wasn't ready to transcend. Because we are innately connected to Mother Earth. We are as connected to Mother Earth as we are to divinity. Okay? And so what I'm trying to explain to you is this idea of cycles. Okay? We are constantly moving through cycles. A cycle can be a day. A cycle can be a month. A cycle can be 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 1,000,000 years. But we are constantly moving through these cycles of experiences. They're not cycles of time. They're experiences that we're having. These cycles are determined by what we're learning from the experience and how we're evolving and how we're expanding. And so as we end this cycle here, we are at a level of consciousness where we are ready to expand and evolve to the next level of understanding. In summary, what I want to say is it's very important to understand this idea of time, timelines, cycles, all of it, because what we are experiencing right now is a convergence of all these ideas, of all these constructs. And I feel very strongly that I need to stop here, and the next video will discuss the convergence. Okay? All right. Thank you.